Welcome to Sharing the Light, the Sunshine Cathedral's talk show webcast where we discuss theological, ethical, spiritual, and social issues with the cathedral's pastoral staff. Sunshine Cathedral is a metropolitan community church affiliated with the Center for Progressive Christianity. We're located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Now, we hope you will enjoy this episode of Sharing the Light. Hello and welcome to Sharing the Light, and thank you for joining us. Today I'm joined by our senior pastor of the Sunshine Cathedral, the Reverend Dr. Durrell Watkins, and at this taping we're looking at the topic of the dangers of the closet. So, how do we begin to deal with the dangers of the closet? I don't know exactly which closet you might be referring to, but
oh, don't you?
What
really?
what dangers and what closet are we referring to on this taping of Sharing the Light?
Well, there's I've got his name written down here so I don't get it wrong. Although he probably would be just as happy if we didn't get it right. The latest, or one of the latest scandals in the world of religion, and there's been a lot lately, sexual scandals, televangelists, the Vatican, whatever. And one of the most recent ones, as of this taping, is a man named Angelo Balducci, who is, or was, I don't know if he will still have this position, sort of an honorary usher for the Vatican, part of a fraternity of ushers that are brought out for special occasions, state occasions. They were involved, for instance, in Pope John Paul II's funeral, that sort of thing. So these honorary ushers, very prestigious sort of position for lay people. And one person who is a member of this prestigious group, Angelo Balducci, recently was found having a choir member, a chorister at the Vatican, procure men for him, get him in contact with men for romantic liaisons or whatever, including a seminarian. And so the choir member, who was the go-between, who did all this, has recently been dismissed. He's been fired. I don't know what happened to Angelo Balducci himself, but anyway, it just reminded me one more time about how dangerous and how soul-killing the closet is. Mm-hmm. That when you ask people to deny their sexuality, when you ask people to lie about their sexuality, to hide their sexuality, basically live a lie. When you ask people to treat a huge part of who they are, a part of their wholeness, one's sexuality, I mean, that's like part of your personality and your physicality and your spirituality, and sexuality is part of that wholeness that makes you a human. Mm-hmm. And when you ask someone to lie about that or hide that or treat that like a dirty little secret, as if you could just compartmentalize it and make it be not part of you, when you treat something that integral, that key to you as a dirty little secret, dysfunction results. Mm-hmm. And so here they're asking people to lie about who they are, or to hide who they are, deny who they are, and time and again we see them acting out in sometimes unhealthy ways, which is really just a consequence of the soul-killing experience of having to live a lie. Mm. And so the answer isn't to preach more against who these people are. That's, in fact, the problem. Right. The answer is, instead of trying to keep people in the closet, which is to say, instead of asking people to live a lie, the answer is to let people come out into the light, to live as who they are. And when you can be truthful about who you are, when you can say, this is who I am, then you can expect people to live that with integrity, with ethics. You can say, okay, now behave yourself and do this appropriately. But you can't ask people to be appropriate when you have damaged them by forcing them to live a lie. So all of the secrecy and all of the duplicity and all the hypocrisy that the closet creates these damaged individuals that then act out of their pain and do things that they're embarrassed by, that embarrasses other people. And I think the cure for that embarrassment is to stop lying, live the truth. Once you say, I'm a gay man, once I'm a lesbian woman, I'm bisexual, I'm heterosexual, but not narrow or hateful towards those who are different. Once we get to be all of who we are, then we get to live our truth with integrity and ethics. But you can't make someone feel like who they are is a dirty little secret, and then be surprised when they act out of the shame and guilt and fear that you've imposed upon them.
Let's put this into a little bit of context. As of this taping, for this week, this has happened at the Vatican. Washington, D.C., the United States nation's capital, began to allow marriage. Marriage certificates were issued, are being issued right now. And so there's kind of a strange thing that this is we're like at the height of GLBT liberation, GLBT awareness. Gay and lesbian movement is really on a different take right now. And isn't it kind of strange that this is happening at the Vatican, this big secrecy, this big in the closet, and yet here in the United States we're about to hopefully repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell for the military. Marriages is happening in the nation's capital and in other states throughout the United States. It's kind of strange that we're in this like little balancing thing going on right now around the world.
But what isn't surprising to me is that in D.C. or anywhere that this has happened, in Iowa and California, where they passed, where gay marriage happened and then it was repealed by referendum, and now in some of the New England states and all that, that when there is opposition to it, the people who fight tooth and nail, and there was a big fight in D.C., the people who fight it are religious people.
Right.
The people... Religion is the problem in all of this. In fact, when I say things, I'm very public. I write. I'm on the internet. I'm in the pulpit, and invariably, a non-religious person will say, "But your past, your history, your tradition is the problem. Christianity or religion or Scripture, that's the problem. Why don't you just leave all of that?" And so I say to people that, you may be right. Christianity may have a shelf life. It may become so irrelevant that it just dies. But in the meantime, those of us who are involved in it have a responsibility to try to help it be better than it is. And so it is unfortunate that during the gay marriage thing in D.C., that it was church people who came out in droves and said horrible things, misinformation. After the city council passed it, there was a television evangelist within hours on television saying, write your Congress people, write your senators, demanding that they because it's a federal city, so Congress has influence over that city in ways that it's less autonomous than other cities, in other words. And so but it was religious people saying, we've got to keep people in the closet, we've got to keep people in the margins, we've got to keep people living a lie and being ashamed of who they are. And so religion really is doing itself a disservice, because religion should be helping people be whole. Salvation is wholeness. And we should be helping people integrate all of the parts of their lives into a beautiful and healthy wholeness. That's our job. And we can't do that job if we're saying, take a big piece of who you are, a huge part of what makes you you, and put it in the closet, hide it, lie about it, deny it. If we do that, we are not creating wholeness. We are creating disintegration. We are creating dysfunction, and we can't be too surprised when we create dysfunction in people's lives and then watch them behave dysfunctionally.
Troy Perry said in one of his interviews or in his book, he says, and Troy Perry, as we know, is the founder of the Metropolitan Community Churches. He said, I came out a long time ago and I burned my closet down when I came out. What is your word of hope to people who are struggling with this issue around coming out and burning their closets or coming out of the closet?
Well, we are in the season of Lent, and so we are about halfway as of this taping. When this episode airs, it may actually be Easter. And the wonderful Easter story is a story about society, government, trying to silence Jesus, trying to keep him from doing what he was doing, being who he was, and executing him, and then he winds up in this tomb. And then the Easter story is the tomb can't contain him. The stone is rolled away, and he comes out of that dark closet back into the light, and this movement continues. So I think coming out of the closet is an Easter experience. It is a resurrection experience. It is the exact thing. It's the most Christian thing someone could do, is to come out of that dark closet into the light of life and live as the whole child of God that they are.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing with us today, and thank you for joining us here on Sharing the Light. Thank you for joining us for another great episode of Sharing the Light. Tell your friends about this online ministry, and when you're in Southeast Florida, make sure you worship with us on a Sunday at the 9 a.m., the 10:30 a.m., or the 6 p.m. service. And now for a final word from our senior pastor, the Reverend Dr. Durrell Watkins.
Email me at durrell@sunshinecathedral.net if you have a religious question or if you'd like to subscribe to our daily devotional magazine, Spirit and Truth. We'll send it anywhere in the United States for an annual donation of any size. You can also email us prayer requests, or you can make donations on our website, www.sunshinecathedral.org. You'll also want to check out our great performing arts series, religious education classes, conferences, and other exciting activities. For now, we wish you many blessings on your spiritual journey.